Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in US history. That's the accusation levelled at the 47th president with as much vigour as it's been rejected by the White House. A stream of billion-dollar real estate deals, accusations of wars for oil, suspect ties with tech bros, interests in cryptocurrency and even nuclear fusion means Donald Trump's critics say he's trampling over the US Constitution while lining his pockets. His allies call it fake news, a symptom of Trump derangement syndrome. I've brought together the evidence so you can make up your own mind. I'm Sangita Myska. This is The Long Story Short. As the US-Israel-led war on Iran rages on, the demand for military drones has grown exponentially. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has, it seems, been prepared. Last summer, he told the American public that the Pentagon wanted to buy drones made in the USA. The contracts would be worth millions of dollars.
In June, President Trump issued an executive order unleashing American drone dominance.
It just so happened that the president's sons, Don Jr. and Eric, had begun working for, or were heavily invested in, two US drone manufacturers. It's been reported by Forbes that at least one of those companies won over $15 million in military-linked orders, including from the US military. It's just the latest Trump family deal to attract widespread condemnation and to raise serious ethical concerns.
Drain the swamp. We're not finished yet, but we're getting really close. Give us 4 more years, go out and vote. We are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp.
In the maelstrom of the Trump presidencies, it's easy to forget one of the very first promises he made to the American people: to wipe corruption from the corridors of power, stop politicians enriching themselves, and stay out of forever wars that profited the military-industrial complex at the expense of ordinary citizens.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
10 years on, the president stands accused of the very corruption he said he'd get rid of. Within days of his second term, he was pushing MAGA merch from a makeshift gift shop in the White House to world leaders, including the presidents of Azerbaijan and war-torn Ukraine. It appeared crass, but at the time was widely viewed as harmless.
I'm 28 points higher than anybody. Everybody wants me to run, but
including us.
That, however, was just the warm-up. The president's sons quickly capitalized on the rocketing value of the family name. Their business, the Trump Organization, announced a slew of real estate licensing agreements. Typically, they allow foreign developers, sometimes state-linked, to use the Trump brand name in exchange for fees and often a percentage of sales, netting huge profits. In Vietnam, there was a $1.5 billion Trump golf complex. In India, $700 million worth of branded ventures. And in Serbia, a $500 million Trump development was waved through until, rather unusually, it hit the buffers after a minister was accused of abusing his position.
The president of the United States is making real estate deals all over the world in a very volatile situation, particularly in the Middle East. This is of great concern that the U.S. military and diplomatic policy could be shaped in part by the financial interests of the president and his family.
The crown jewel deals were done in the Arabian Peninsula. In Saudi, there were developments worth a total of $10 billion. In Dubai, a $1 billion tower with a similar project under discussion in Abu Dhabi. And in Qatar, a $3 billion golf resort.
as a construction person, I'm seeing perfect marble. This is what they call perfecto.
The result? The Trump family income was reportedly boosted by $849 million in under 6 months. This was the start of the fastest expansion overseas of the family's real estate business since it was founded a century ago. President Trump's supporters are unperturbed.
A lot of his foreign relationships were pre-existing to his going into politics. Whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, but a court has not convicted them of anything.
Separately, the Qatar royal family, in their words, donated an unconditional gift of a Boeing aircraft worth $400 million to serve as the new presidential jet. The White House insists Donald Trump has not broken any laws and there is no conflict of interest. However, leading legal experts, including some in the Republican Party, disagree.
The president cannot receive any profits and benefits from foreign governments or sovereign wealth funds run by foreign governments. That's a provision of the Emoluments Clause of the United States Constitution. Now, that's not a criminal law, but the president could be impeached for it.
Would I call for it? No, I wouldn't, because I don't know enough about it right now. And I also saw, whether it's the Russia collusion hoax or a lot of other, the hush money case, all of these things, that there was a weaponized Department of Justice. There was a weaponized sort of two-tier legal system used against the president. And quite frankly, every time that one of those cases came out, his numbers went up.
Now, trying to pin down every dime and dollar Donald Trump makes, and from whom, is difficult, not least because he's made it so.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. I pledge to every citizen of our land that I will be president for all Americans.
For example, back in 2016, during his first presidential term, he defied convention by refusing to publish his tax returns, meaning his finances and any potential conflict of interest could not be thoroughly examined. Instead, in a grand gesture, he donated his $400 million presidential salary to federal departments.
The salary donation is not relevant at all if we have a president who is going to make hundreds of millions of dollars, perhaps billions of dollars in business because he's president. Where foreign governments or other entities will want to do business with his companies in order to ingratiate themselves to the president, or his sons are making lots of money doing business deals with people who might otherwise not deal with them.
It's reported that during his first term, the Trump family business made around $1.6 billion. Even so, by the time he left office in 2021, the president was experiencing serious cash flow problems. Whilst on trial for fraud, financial documents showed parts of his business were in deep trouble. Meanwhile, his TV earnings were waning and bills from multiple lawsuits were spiraling.
You're fired. You're fired.
You're fired. Get out of here.
But then, just like that, Donald Trump made a remarkable comeback. He won the Republican nomination for the 2024 presidential race. His anti-immigration rhetoric, however outlandish, proved popular with the public.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in.
As the campaign raged on, Trump, along with his two elder sons, Eric and Don Jr., refocused the family business, forming a series of partnerships with investors who were willing to bank on the president's victory and make huge campaign donations.
It is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
Once reinstalled in the White House, it wasn't just the real estate deals that caused consternation. In July 2025, Trump signed into law the so-called Genius Act. Critics said the act contained loopholes in regulation that put consumers at serious financial risk. The president said the act would future-proof the US economy by turning it into the cryptocurrency capital of the world.
The Genius Act creates a clear and simple regulatory framework to establish and unleash the immense promise of dollar-backed stable coins.
You know, there were over 50 million people in the United States that hold cryptocurrency going into the 2024 election. So would you rather have them dealing off on finance in China, or would you rather have them regulated in the United States?
The problem is, The Genius Act represents a huge potential conflict of interest.
Big news, the World Liberty Financial token sale is now live. Crypto is the future. Let's embrace this incredible technology and lead the world in digital economy.
Just 2 months before winning the 2024 presidential election, Trump and his 3 sons, Eric, Don Jr. and Barron, founded a so-called digital asset bank called World Liberty Financial. It aims to provide financial services outside the heavily regulated traditional banking system. Other World Liberty founders include Steve Witkoff and his 2 sons. Steve Witkoff was subsequently appointed Trump's diplomatic special envoy. Pictures of both men remain on the website, although a footnote says they were, quote, removed upon taking office. It's unclear what that actually means. We contacted the White House for comment, but have not received a reply.
I testified in front of the Senate Banking Committee on July 9 of the last year about this situation. It's an enormous conflict of interest to have the president in charge of the executive branch saying they're regulating the safety of cryptocurrency trading markets when the president has this kind of conflict of interest. This could end very, very badly for the American economy and even for the global economy. We saw in 2008 what happens when unregulated, poorly regulated financial instruments are traded, and there's a systemic impact on the banking system and on the economy.
Look, as somebody who believes in small government and personal responsibility, it is pretty clear right now that everyone knows how risky crypto can be, so buyer beware.
A damning report published by House Democrats concluded that, quote, the majority of net revenues go directly to the Trump family, presenting a clear conflict of interest. The report accused World Liberty Financial of intending to, quote, minimize scrutiny and operate without government oversight.
When the banks came after our family, I'll never forget it. We became the most canceled people in the world, all because, we're associated with politics in the United States. And honestly, I really do believe that cryptocurrency, and certainly our venture into cryptocurrency, is going to make the big banks regret that.
World Liberty Financial also launched a new cryptocurrency called USD1. It's a stablecoin fully backed by US treasuries, dollars, and other cash equivalents. The UAE chose to use it to structure a $2 billion financial transaction. Now, critics of the US-Israel-led war against Iran have made the hotly disputed claim that this, alongside the real estate licensing deals in the Gulf, were, in effect, an inducement to secure US military assistance. The White House has consistently denied claims of wrongdoing. Eric and Don Jr. say they've got nothing to hide and that deals are done in plain sight. So, if there was criminal wrongdoing, surely Trump would have been prosecuted by now. Not so, say legal experts who point to a seismic gap in the law.
There's a criminal statute, 18 United States Code Section 208, that prohibits any person in the executive branch of the United States government from participating in any government matter that has a direct and predictable effect on their own financial interest. This statute, criminal statute, applies to everyone in the executive branch except for the president and the vice president. It also does not apply to members of Congress.
With the law unfit for purpose, a weak Democratic Party, and no legal proceedings testing the criticisms we've outlined in this film, can Donald Trump be categorically described as the most corrupt president in US history?
I do not believe he is, and I don't believe the facts have shown that he is. But if there's a journalist out there that can dig deep and get beyond the feelings and the emotions that people have, I will take a look at it just like everybody else. But no, I don't think as of now we have the facts to say he is.
It's clearly the case that Donald Trump has more financial conflicts of interest than any president since the Civil War. With respect to his conduct in office, and violating the law, there is more evidence that he has violated the law while in office. What's going on right now is 100-fold what was ever happening during the Biden presidency. And this could have devastating consequences for our country if we don't turn things around and hold President Trump accountable.
With 3 more years left to run on this presidency, the Trumps are clocking up even more deals. First, there are potential real estate deals in Gaza being brokered by Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Then there's Truth Social, Trump's social media platform, which appears to be investing in nuclear fusion energy, a new industry that would have to be regulated by the US government. Currently, there seem to be few ways and little appetite by lawmakers to test the mounting evidence of potential corruption against the president. But as with everything in US politics right now, that could very well be about to change any second now.